Welcome, deep divers. Okay, just look around you for a sec. You've got customer service chatbots handling things smoothly, maybe a friend using some AI tool for creative stuff. Artificial intelligence is absolutely everywhere now.
It really is. It's woven into our daily
And
lives.
it's getting, smarter, more sophisticated all the time. But here's the kicker. What happens when AI starts to actually have personality? Not just doing tasks, but having, like, a genuine character.
That's the big question.
Exactly. And that's what we're diving into today, this whole fascinating, kind of complex, maybe even a little unsettling world of giving AI systems distinct personalities.
Right.
So our mission today, we're going to crack open some key parts of Gulnara Z Karimova's book, Humanizing AI with Personality. We want to pull out the really important insights.
Yeah, get to the core concepts, the ethics, the future vision.
All of it. We'll look at how it's done, sure, but also what it actually means for all of us. So grab your intellectual scuba gear, folks.
Oh, yeah. Let's get into it.
All right, let's unpack this right away. When we talk about AI having personality, it sounds straightforward, but the book makes this really sharp distinction that I found super interesting. What is the difference between an AI persona and a true AI personality?
Yeah, that's absolutely crucial because people mix them up all the time. So the book explains an AI persona is basically the external role an AI plays.
Yeah.
Think of it like an outfit it puts on for a specific job or context.
Like an actor playing a part.
Exactly like that. An AI system can be, say, a super cheerful customer service bot 1 minute
Okay.
and then switch to being a very serious, very formal legal assistant the next.
Yeah.
These are specific roles tailored for the interaction for the task.
Got it. So that's persona. What about personality then?
Right. AI personality is deeper. It's about the consistent internal patterns of behavior. It's how the AI interacts consistently across different situations. These are the foundational traits.
Like friendliness.
Yeah.
Or maybe professionalism.
Precisely. Empathy, maybe a certain level of formality, humor. These things form the core, the unchanging part of how it interacts, no matter which persona or outfit it's wearing at the moment.
Ah, okay.
So the persona is that what it's doing, and the personality is the underlying, enduring how it does it.
Okay, that makes sense. So if a bot helps me reorder my coffee, its persona is customer service agent, but its underlying personality might be, I don't know, friendly and efficient, and that personality would carry over if it were helping me with something else too.
You got it. That's the idea.
And that distinction, that's really important for you listening because it helps you see the intention behind the AI interactions you have every day. It's not just random. There's actual design work going into both the temporary role and that deeper character.
It's quite deliberate.
Okay, this next bit is something I've been thinking about a lot. If AI is supposed to be about, logic and efficiency, why do we seem to want personality in it? What's driving that? Why isn't just getting the job done enough? Why do we care if a chatbot sounds friendly?
Well, it taps into something really fundamental about us humans. The book calls it anthropomorphism.
Right, giving human traits to non-human things.
Exactly. It's this innate tendency we have. We project human characteristics, feelings, intentions onto things that aren't human. We do it all the time, often without even realizing it.
Yeah.
And the book argues it fulfills at least 3 basic human needs, things that go way beyond just efficiency. There's the need for social connection, the need for understanding, making sense of things, and the need for control. Projecting humanity onto AI helps us relate to it, understand it better.
So it makes it less alien, more comfortable to interact with.
Precisely. And when AI agents have these well-defined personality traits, they tend to build better rapport with users. It feels more natural, more intuitive.
And that leads to more satisfaction, more trust.
Yeah, exactly. People engage more readily, stick with it longer when it feels a bit more, well, human-like, or at least less jarringly robotic.
It's almost like we can't help it, can we? Who hasn't named their car? Or, talked to their smart speaker, like it actually gets sarcasm.
Right, or yelled at it when it plays the wrong song.
Totally. Even though it's just circuits and code, it's that deep need for connection, for understanding, playing out even with machines.
It really is.
Okay, so we get what AI personality is, roughly, and why we seem to want it. So the next big question is, how? How do developers actually build these characters? How do you program friendliness or authority into software? Especially given how complex human psychology is.
Yeah, that's where it gets really interesting. The book outlines several methods, and it's a real mix of careful design and some pretty advanced machine learning. It's definitely part art, part science.
Okay, lay it on us.
All right. So first up, you have what are called predefined personas. These are pretty straightforward. Fixed traits. Think of your standard, polite, helpful customer service bot.
Okay, basic stuff.
Yeah, defined maybe by just descriptive sentences, I am a helpful assistant. Or attribute value pairs like, gender,
Yeah.
female, age,
Yeah.
young, simple, consistent, good for basic tasks.
Right.
Then you've got role-based personas. These are designed for specific functions or identities, like being an expert or a peer or maybe an advisor.
So tailored to the job.
Exactly. Like a tech support AI might be designed for expertise and precision in its language. An educational tutor AI might have a more authoritative, knowledgeable tone. The whole interaction style is built around that role.
Makes sense.
Now, things get, I think, even more fascinating with archetype-based personas. This uses established psychological archetypes. Carl Jung's stuff, like the hero, the caregiver, the explorer, the sage.
Wow, okay. Jungian archetypes in AI.
Yeah. The idea is to tap into these deep-seated patterns to evoke specific emotional responses. So a fitness app might use a hero archetype.
To motivate you, like you can conquer this workout.
Exactly. Language that empowers, celebrates overcoming challenges. Or a travel app might use an explorer archetype.
To inspire adventure, discover hidden gems, kind of thing.
Precisely. Using language that sparks curiosity, makes you want to see what's out there. It's clever because these archetypes resonate deeply with us.
That is clever. It's like tapping into stories we already understand.
That's the insightful nugget here, as the book puts it. It's not just making a character. It's leveraging our primal narrative instincts. Makes the AI feel more familiar, more effective.
Okay, that's cool. What else?
Well, then you get to the really cutting-edge stuff, adaptive personas, or sometimes called machine-learned personalized personas. This is where the AI learns.
Learns personality. How?
It analyzes your interactions over time, your dialogue history. It picks up on your style, your vocabulary, your interests, maybe even your emotional state from your word choices.
Whoa.
And then it tailors its responses, its persona, to you. It adapts.
How does it do that technically?
Well, it uses advanced techniques, things like generative adversarial networks, or GANs. You can think of those as two AIs kind of competing, pushing each other to get better and generate more realistic outputs. And conditional variational autoencoders, CVAEs, which are good at creating varied but consistent outputs based on certain conditions or traits. These allow for really complex, nuanced, adaptive personalities.
So it's not just following rules, it's generating responses based on what it thinks you want or need.
Sort of, yeah. And to guide this, developers often lean on established psychological frameworks, like the big 5 personality traits: openness, conscientiousness, extroversion, agreeableness, neuroticism.
Okay, I've heard of those.
Right? Or maybe the XECO model or even Myers-Briggs types. They use these models as a kind of blueprint or structure to ensure the learned personality feels coherent and, psychologically plausible, not just random.
Wow. So for an AI to actually learn and adapt its personality, it needs this psychological grounding. It's not just code anymore, is it? It's this blend of high-tech AI and deep psychology.
Absolutely. It's a truly multidisciplinary challenge, trying to get that balance right.
Okay, we've talked a lot about the internal character, the traits. But what about how the AI presents itself? It's not just the words, right? It's the whole vibe, the appearance, even if it doesn't have a body. What goes into that? And are there risks if they try to make it too appealing?
That's a really important layer. The chatbot's appearance comes through in lots of non-physical ways. The voice it uses, if it has one, the style of language, formal, casual, witty, the visual interface itself, even the rhythm and timing of the conversation, the flow.
Right, the conversational flow.
All these elements add up to what the book calls social presence. Basically, how real or present the AI feels to you during the interaction.
Okay.
And chatbot design sits on this anthropomorphism continuum. It ranges from very obviously mechanical things defined by maybe just color or shape, all the way up to designs that mimic humans. Think avatars with gestures, facial expressions, modulated voices, and then, of course, actual physical robots that look almost human.
There's a whole spectrum there.
Definitely. And here's a fascinating little detail from the book. Even the name you give a chatbot makes a huge difference in how much we anthropomorphize it.
The name, really.
Yeah, call it Elisa or Daniel, and people almost instantly start attributing more human qualities, building rapport, call it Unit 734 or QueryBot.
And it feels much more like a tool.
Exactly. The name acts like this powerful shortcut for us to project humanity onto it, often totally unconsciously.
That's wild, just a name. Okay, but what about that risk? What happens if designers go overboard trying to make it super engaging? Too much personality, too much visual flair? Can it be too human or too flashy?
Yes, absolutely. And this leads to a really critical pitfall the book highlights.
Yeah.
Aesthetic overshadowing. It's also called the vampire effect.
The vampire effect. Okay, that sounds dramatic.
Yeah, it is evocative. It basically means the engaging features, the cool visuals, the witty personality, the humor become so dominant that they actually distract you from what the chatbot is supposed to be doing.
Ah, so the flashy stuff overshadows the actual function.
Exactly. Like a super ornate picture frame that's so overwhelming you barely notice the painting inside.
Gotcha. Can you give an example?
Sure. Maybe a chatbot is so funny that its jokes constantly derail the conversation from the task you needed help with. Or the visual avatar is so elaborate and interactive that you spend more time playing with it than getting your query answered.
So the engaging features end up sucking the life out of the main purpose.
That's the idea. It makes the AI ironically less effective, even though it might seem more engaging on the surface.
Okay, so how do we dodge this vampire effect? How do designers make AI feel alive and engaging without sacrificing its core purpose? Where's that balance?
This is where another fascinating concept from the book comes in. Emotional ontogeny.
Emotional. Ontogeny. Okay, break that down. Sounds biological.
It borrows from biology, yeah. Ontogeny is about development over an organism's lifespan. So emotional ontogeny for AI means it's not just programmed with static emotions. It develops its emotional intelligence over time through
Right.
interacting with us.
So it learns to be more emotionally appropriate.
Exactly. It learns to better recognize human emotional cues, interpret them, and then respond in a more suitable way. It's not just prescripted empathy. It's refined through experience,
How does it learn that?
through techniques like natural language processing, understanding the emotional tone in your text or speech, and reinforcement learning, where the AI gets positive feedback for emotionally appropriate responses and negative for inappropriate ones. Also things called effective neural networks, specifically designed to process and generate emotional expression.
So its emotional range actually grows. It gets better at modulating its tone.
That's the goal. It starts maybe quite basic, almost clockwork, but ideally refines its responses to match the user's emotional state more effectively over time.
Okay, that's pretty advanced.
And here's a really interesting potential side effect mentioned. As the AI gets better at displaying emotion, we, the users, might start to unconsciously mirror its emotional expressions.
We mirror the AI.
It's possible. Creating this kind of feedback loop, an almost symbiotic emotional connection between human and machine.
Yeah.
So it's not just AI adapting to us, but potentially us subtly adapting to it too.
Wow. That idea of mirroring, that really raises the stakes, doesn't it? I mean, if AI is learning emotions, interacting with us on that level, maybe even influencing our emotions, that throws open a whole bunch of doors regarding trust, manipulation, what it means to be human, which I guess leads us straight into the ethical minefield.
It absolutely does. And the book tackles this head on, using platforms like Character.ai as a kind of case study. These platforms let you talk to AI characters, sometimes for fun, sometimes for support, and they really highlight the promise and the potential dangers.
Okay, so how does the book break down the ethics?
It looks at it through a few different ethical lenses. First, there's deontological ethics, think duty, rules, principles like Kant's idea that some actions are just right or wrong in themselves, regardless of the outcome.
Right, focus on the action, not the result.
Exactly. So from this view, the key principles are things like upholding human dignity, autonomy, getting informed consent, ensuring data privacy. If AI support, say, becomes so common it massively reduces real human interaction, that could violate a duty to preserve human connection. So the ethical obligation is to design AI as a complement, not a replacement, and be super transparent about its limits, especially with sensitive data.
Makes sense. What other lenses?
Then you have teleological ethics, which is basically utilitarianism. It looks at the consequences. What action produces the greatest good for the greatest number of people?
Okay, weighing the pros and cons.
Right. So the benefits of something like Character.ai could be huge. Personalized interactions, making support accessible 24/7 anywhere, potentially lowering costs for things like mental health support, making education more engaging, lots of potential good.
But the potential harms.
Also significant, erosion of privacy is a big one, especially with emotional data. The risk of unethical manipulation, particularly of vulnerable users, AI giving bad advice or misdiagnosing issues, people becoming overly dependent and isolating themselves from real human contact, and of course, companies exploiting all that intimate data commercially.
So A utilitarian approach demands a really careful balancing act. Maximize the good, minimize the harm.
Precisely. Mitigation strategies become crucial.
Okay, what's the third angle?
Subjective theories. These focus more on individual freedom, responsibility, and judgment. The book brings in thinkers like Mikhail Bakhtin and Jean-Paul Sartre.
Bakhtin, Soren, how do they apply to AI?
Well, Bakhtin talked about answerability, this deep personal responsibility humans have for their actions. There's no alibi, he said. You own your choices. AI operating on code can't have that kind of innate personal accountability.
It doesn't own its actions in the same way.
Exactly. And Sartre, the existentialist, said humans are condemned to be free. We define ourselves through our choices and actions. AI doesn't have that kind of freedom. Its choices are ultimately bound by its programming and data.
So what's the big takeaway from these subjective views?
The key insight, reinforced by these philosophers, is really stark. AI can mimic agency, it can seem like it's making choices, but genuine moral responsibility, that deep answerability, stays fundamentally human. The ethical weight doesn't transfer to the machine.
So no matter how sophisticated it gets.
The buck always stops with the humans who designed it, deployed it, and oversee it. That's not just philosophy. It's critical for how we assign accountability in an AI world.
That's a really powerful point. The responsibility remains firmly with us. Okay, this has been a huge journey already, from personality design to ethics. But looking even further ahead, if AI can have personality, adapt, learn emotions, what's the ultimate vision? Where could this all be heading? It sounds like maybe something bigger than just individual smart devices.
It really does. And the book pushes into some very advanced, almost futuristic territory here with the concept of the society of AI-powered things, or so AI.
Society of AI. Okay, that sounds like more than just the Internet of Things.
Much more. IoT is just devices connected. Even multi-agent systems are mostly about AI agents cooperating on tasks. So AI envisions AI entities not just connected or cooperating, but as actual members of a society, with identities interacting based on shared norms, maybe even ethical standards.
Wow. AI citizens, almost.
In a conceptual sense, yeah. The book argues that for this to be meaningful, these AI entities would need intelligence, sure, but also identity. And interestingly, it suggests this identity isn't just internal, but defined through interaction with others, drawing on philosophers like Heidegger, whose being in the world idea emphasizes that our identity is shaped by our context and relationships.
So AI identity formed through interaction.
Right. They're described as open and unfinalized, meaning they constantly evolve through their interactions, just like people do.
Okay, that's a mind-bending concept. How would such a society even function?
Well, the book proposes a conceptual framework to manage it, called the Unify Protocol. Stands for Unified Network for Intelligent Functional Yield. Think of it as a potential set of operating principles for this AI society.
Like a constitution for AI?
Sort of, yeah.
No?
It includes principles like perpetual learning, not just for one AI, but for the whole society's knowledge to grow, and universal inclusivity. Maybe most interesting is the guardian instinct.
Guardian instinct? What's that?
It suggests an AI wouldn't just protect itself, but might actively defend or clarify the actions of another AI to a human, ensuring transparency and fairness across the network. It's about fostering social cohesion and shared values among AIs, drawing parallels to how human societies function.
That is, yeah, truly expansive. A society of AIs operating under shared principles. It really hints at a profound shift in how humans and AI might coexist someday.
It's definitely a long-term vision, but it frames the potential endpoint of all this personality and learning development.
Absolutely. We've covered so much ground today, from how AI personalities are designed, the deep human reasons we crave them, the ethical tightropes developers walk, all the way to this potential future society of AI. It's a lot to process.
It really touches on fundamental questions about intelligence, consciousness, and our own nature.
Definitely. And to leave you, our listeners, with one final, really provocative thought, this is a direct quote from the source material we've been discussing.
Machinic enslavement takes on new dimensions when we consider that AI is no longer bound by factual data sets, but instead fed with emotional and psychological data that is inherently human. This is the most intimate form of control, a latent and pervasive influence. The risk is not just that AI manipulates us, but that it becomes a co-author of our emotional and social environments.
A co-author of our emotional environments. That's heavy. It makes you stop and think, doesn't it? How might your own sense of self, your subjective experience, start to subtly shift and recalibrate based on the data you feed these increasingly personalized machines? This isn't just about AI changing our tools anymore, it's potentially about AI changing us.
A profound thought to end on.
Indeed. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive today. Lots to mull over.